Hello students, welcome back to your online class. So far we have covered 14 chapters. Okay, so today in this class we are going to start a fresh chapter, that is lecture number 15. So here the chapter name is Elasticity of Demand Part 2. So students, why the name has given like Part 2 means, so like it is an extension of your previous chapter. So in previous chapter what we have studied, so like we just discussed about the meaning, different types and different degrees of elasticity of demand. Okay, like some 3 concepts are remaining in that, so those they have kept under this new chapter. So if we cover those 3 chapter means like we will be ending this concept, that is elasticity of demand. So we'll see what are those topics. So in that the first topic is measurement of elasticity of demand. So there are 4 different methods of measuring the elasticity of demand. Like in those methods, like some formulas will come. So those formulas are very easy, like we have already covered those formulas in lecture number 14. So like just to differentiate those things under the measures, so they have kept under the separate topic. Okay, so first we'll see about the measurement of elasticity of demand, then we'll see the factors affecting elasticity of demand, like what all the factors will affect, like because of which factors the elasticity of demand will change. So that we will study under second topic, and lastly we'll study what is the practical importance of studying this elasticity of demand. Fine, so let's start with the first topic, that is measurement of elasticity of demand. So students, like I have already told you, there are 4 different methods under measurement. So they are percentage method or proportionate method. Second one is total outlay method or total revenue method. Third one is geometric method or point method. And fourth one is arc elasticity of demand. Okay, so these are the 4 types. So the second type, that is total outlay method or total revenue method, is very important, and this method is also called as total expenditure method. So we'll study like one by one we'll study. So the first one is percentage or proportionate method. So students, here like we will be using the percentage to measure this elasticity of demand. Okay, so this formula we have already studied, that is elasticity of demand equals to percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. Okay, so this is according to your definition. So like this formula also we have already studied, that is delta Q upon delta P into P by Q. So here like delta Q is nothing but the change in quantity demanded, delta P is the change in price, P is your initial price and Q is your initial quantity. Okay, so this is the same formula which we have studied under your 14th lecture. Okay, so that's nothing but your percentage method or proportionate method. So in your examination, if they ask this question for 2 marks, like explain about percentage method under elasticity of demand, means you have to just write this formula, and you have to just you have to write what does delta Q mean and what does delta P mean and what does P and Q mean, and you have to write this formula. Okay, so that's about your first method of measuring percentage method, or a first method of measuring elasticity of demand. So what is the second method? So second method is total outlay or total revenue or total expenditure method. So students, this will be based on like how much expenditure you are doing on the commodity. So based on that, elasticity of demand has been divided. So here we have just studied about the like regarding the formula. If like after keeping the data in this formula, if the value is more than 1 means your elasticity of demand will be elastic. If it is less than 1 means it will be inelastic, and if it is equal to 1 means it will be unitary elastic. Okay, so after keeping the data in this formula, we'll get these 3 types of demand. So what about expenditure method? So in expenditure method, we'll study according to the expenditure. Okay, we'll see that. So first let me tell you about the scientist. So Alfred Marshall has given this method, that is total expenditure method. In this method, the change in price and the subsequent change in total expenditure on the purchase of the commodity is compared, like how much change in the price of that commodity is occurring, and due to that change in price, how much change in the expenditure is occurring. Okay, like how it is affecting to your expenditure. So that's all about your expenditure method. So for that one formula is there, that is total outlay equals to total quantity into price of the commodity. So students, let's suppose you have like you are going to purchase one commodity. Okay, so the commodity price is 5 rupees. So you are going to purchase 10 quantity of that. Okay, so then 10 into 5 is 50. So here 50 is your total expenditure, means how much you are expending on that. This is the TQ, means how much quantity you are purchasing. This is the price. Okay, so to calculate the expenditure, you have to use this formula, that is price into quantity demanded. So this is the first formula that comes under total expenditure method. So by using this formula, how to calculate elasticity of demand means, let's understand that by this table. That is, let's imagine that, see here you can see the price is decreasing from 5 to 2.5 and from 2.5 to 1.5. So if price decreases means what happens, your quantity demanded will increase. Okay, so at that time what will be your total expenditure? So like just now we have studied about the formula, total expenditure equals to price into quantity demanded. So if we multiply these two means you will get this what you will get this amount. Okay, so here like the total expenditure what you are getting is same, that is 5000 5000 5000. So if it is same or if it is constant means your elasticity of demand will be equal to 1. So like when the price decreases and when the demand increases and when that results into same total expenditure, then the elasticity of demand will be 1. Okay, so the next example is elasticity of demand greater than 1, that is inelastic demand. So for inelastic demand, how it will be? See, here again your price is decreasing. It's decreasing. So at that time, so when price decreases, your quantity demanded will increase. But here your expenditure is also increasing because you are like purchasing more quantity. Okay, so when this percentage or the total expenditure increases, your elasticity of demand will be greater than 1. So when your total expenditure become constant, your elasticity of demand will be equal to 1. Okay, so when your total expenditure decreases, see here it's becoming 5000 to 3750, 3750 to 2500. Okay, so when your total expenditure decreases, your elasticity will be less than 1. So students, like this total expenditure method tells about the elasticity of demand based on the total expenditure. Okay, so here everything will be based on this. If it is constant means constant, if it is increasing means elastic, and if it is decreasing means inelastic. Okay, so that's all about your total expenditure method. Third method is geometric method. So this method is also called as point method. So why it is called as point method means, so here we'll be measuring the elasticity of demand by comparing these points. Okay, so first we'll try to understand the definition, so then we'll try to explain this, like understand this graph. So what is the definition or what is the meaning of this method? This method was originally suggested by again Alfred Marshall. Okay, previous method was also suggested by Alfred Marshall and this method is also suggested by Alfred Marshall. So like if you get a scientist regarding question about this chapter, that is about elasticity of demand means, like most of the time it will be Alfred Marshall only. Okay, because in this chapter like 3 to 4 concepts has been given by him. Fine, so like the point method has been given by Alfred Marshall. Under this method, the elasticity can be measured at any point on demand curve by dividing lower portion by the upper portion. So here one demand curve should be there. So like we have to demand, like if you want to calculate elasticity of demand means we have to divide this lower part with the upper part. We'll see how to divide. So first just remember this formula, that is elasticity of demand is lower segment of the curve divided by upper segment of the curve. Okay, so we'll see how this formula will work in this graph. So students, this is your demand graph, that is a negative slope straight line. Okay, see here, if you want to calculate elasticity of demand at this point means what you have to do, you have to divide the lower segment with the upper segment. So what is the lower segment? This part, P4 to P3, this is your lower segment. So what is your upper segment? This one, from P3 to P2. Okay, so whatever the portion that comes above to this point, that will be your upper segment, and the point, like the region that comes below to this point, that will be your lower segment. Okay, so here you have to consider these segments as 1 1 1 1. Okay, so what is your lower segment? Only 1. So what is your upper segment? 1 plus 1 plus 1, that is 3. So 1 divided by 3 is 0.33. So 0.33 is less than 1. So that's why here at this point elasticity of demand is less than 1. Okay, so let's calculate the elasticity of demand for another point. So that is here. So here what is the formula? Lower segment by upper segment. So what is the lower segment? 1 plus 1 plus 1, that is 3. 3 divided by, what is the upper segment? Only this part, 1. So 3 divided by 3, 3 divided by 1 is 3. So 3 is greater than 1. So that is elasticity of demand is greater than 1 at this point. So like if you want to calculate at this point, okay, means here lower segment is also same and upper segment is also same, that is 2 divided by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Okay, so that's why here elasticity of demand is unitary, that is equal to 1. Fine. So this is about your third method, students, that is the point method. So this is the most easiest method, that is you have to just divide the lower segment with the upper segment and you'll get a point. Fine. So what is the last method? The last method is arc method. The arc method uses the average of the original price and the new price and the original quantity and new quantity to determine the elasticity of demand. So here like they are talking about one formula. So like this method is based on one formula. So what is that formula? The formula here is change in Q divided by change in P into P1 plus P2 divided by Q1 plus Q2. So this is also simple formula. So like in the first method, that is percentage method, what we have studied, delta Q by delta P into just P divided by Q. So here what is the difference? Here it is P1 plus P2 divided by Q1 plus Q2. We have to take both the price, that is initial price and final price. But here we have just taken the initial price. Okay, so that is the main difference. So if they ask you about the arc method, means you have to just write this formula and you can make this formula into a definition also. Okay, so these are about the four methods. The first method is percentage method. So under percentage method, only this formula you have to remember, and the terms like what is delta Q, what is P, what is Q, and what is delta P. Okay, so this formula you have to remember. And under second method, that is expenditure method, you have to write like this is given by Marshall, and here we'll compare the elasticity of demand based on the expenditure what we are doing in the market. Okay, so and this is the formula to calculate the expenditure. So if the expenditure is constant, means elasticity of demand is constant, that is 1. If the expenditure is increasing, means elasticity of demand is greater than 1. If the expenditure is decreasing, means elasticity of demand will be less than 1. So like this is not there in your syllabus, that is this graph is not included. Fine. So the third method is point method. So point method is also very simple method. Here one small formula is there, that is lower segment divided by upper segment. So by keeping that formula, you can study like what kind of elasticity of demand we will get. So under arc method, again there is one simple formula, that is delta Q upon delta P into P1 plus P2 divided by Q1 plus Q2. Okay, so this is about the first topic under the 15th chapter. So now let's go to the second topic, that is factors affecting the elasticity of demand. So these are the different factors that affect your elasticity of demand. They are the nature of the commodity, availability of substitutes, income level, level of price, postponement of consumption, and number of uses. So we'll study one by one. So like how this nature of the commodity will affect your elasticity of demand means. So students, under nature of commodity, 3 different types will come, that is your necessities, comforts, and luxuries. So what is the elasticity of demand for necessities? It is less than 1. Because even though the price changes, your quantity demanded will not change. Okay, because like the necessaries will be such that without which you cannot live. So for such kind of goods, the elasticity of demand will be less than 1, and for comforts and luxuries it will be usually greater than 1, and for super luxurious good it will be infinite. Okay, so this is how different nature of the commodities will affect to the elasticity of demand. So according to different goods, the elasticity of demand will also changes. So the next one is availability of substitutes. So students, like if any substitutes are available, means your elasticity of demand will be positive, that is greater than 1. So if no substitutes are available, means only complementary goods are there, means it will be negative, that is less than 1. So this reason we have already studied in your previous chapter, that is under lecture number 14. So the third factor is your income level. Okay, so the third factor is your income level. So how income will affect means, so there will be 2 types of people, that is rich and poor. So students, for rich people, even though the price changes, that will not affect them. Okay, so like even though the market will increase price, means the quantity demanded will not increase in a high manner. Okay, so like for them, the elasticity of demand will be, sometimes it will be constant and sometimes it will be less than 1, means there will be no change. But for poor people, it's not like that. So even though like little changes happens in the market, so the quantity demanded with respect to them will be very high. Okay, like the change in quantity demanded with respect to them will be very high. So that's why for poor people it will be inelastic, that is elasticity of demand will be less than 1. For rich people it will be less than 1, and for poor people it will be more than 1. Okay, see, if your demand is not affecting with the price, means it will be like you will be inelastic, otherwise you will be elastic. Fine. So what is the fourth factor? That is level of price. So let me give an example for this. So students, like some festivals will come, okay, like Ganesh Chaturthi, Deepavali. Okay, so in these kinds of festival, so like in these times of festival, what the market will do, so it will give some offers on certain commodities. Okay, let's suppose that, so there is an offer on laptop. Okay, So in the second case, there is an offer on Matchbox. So see here, you are getting offer means definitely you'll purchase some laptop, because laptop is a like special good. Okay, so like it is a electronic good, electronic device, so that comes under a normal product which acts as a special product during these offers kind of things. Okay, offer times. So that's why you'll purchase laptop. Here, due to a change in price, your quantity demanded is affecting. Okay, so that's why here the elasticity of demand is greater than 1. These are elastic goods. So for Matchbox, what will happen? So even though during the festival times, even though if they decrease the price also, you will not purchase huge number of Matchboxes. Okay, so because it is a necessary good. So like in normal time also, even though price increases also, you can purchase. Okay, so because it is a necessary good. So that's why for these kind of goods, even though offer is there, you will not purchase much. Okay, so for such kind of goods, the elasticity of demand will be less than 1, means inelastic. So that is the fourth factor. And what is the fifth factor? That is postponement of consumption. Suppose you want to go for a marriage. Okay, so that marriage is tomorrow only. So like if that marriage is tomorrow, means you want to purchase some new dress. So like you'll go to market. So like whatever the whatever the price they will tell to you, so that you will be ready to give that, because you have to attend that marriage, and that marriage is tomorrow only. If you're not able to postpone your consumption, then your elasticity of demand will be greater than 1. So like if the marriage is after 10 days, means like your elasticity of demand will be less than 1. Sorry, if you are not able to postpone, means your elasticity will be less than 1. If you are able to postpone, means it will be greater than 1. Why? Because why less than 1? Because like you will be ready to pay any price, like your quantity demanded will not affect with the price. Okay, so that's why the postponement of consumption will affect your elasticity of demand. If you are ready to postpone, it will be greater than 1. If you are not ready to postpone, it will be less than 1. So the last one is number of uses. So if the commodity is having more number of users, means for such kind of commodities, the elasticity will be less than 1. For example, all your necessities, means necessity will be having more uses. Okay, like food, water, cloth, etc. So like if the commodity is having less number of users, means the elasticity of demand for them will be greater than 1, because for such goods, even though like there is a little change in price, your quantity demanded will be affected more. Okay, so that's why number of users will also affect your elasticity of demand. So students, like these are the 6 different types of factors that affect your elasticity of demand. So like this is how we complete the second topic, that is factors, about factors. So let's go to the third topic, that is importance of elasticity of demand, like practically how it will be beneficial for you. We'll study one by one. So there are 6 importance. First one is in the determination of output level. So like how this will help for output means, see students, like output means definitely it will be helping for a seller or any producer in the market. So what kind of goods he will produce? So he will produce the goods which will be inelastic in nature, like whose elasticity of demand will be less than 1, because even though the price changes, the quantity demanded will not change. Even though this producer increase the price, the people will purchase that product, so that then he'll be under profit. So that's why the producer will be willing to produce the necessary goods only. Okay, so that's how it will help in the determination of output, like what kind of output we have to produce. So that is the first importance. Second one is in the determination of price. Okay, fine. So the producer has produced one product. So how he will determine price for that means, so if that is less elastic, means he will keep more price for that. If it is more elastic, means he will keep less price for that, because for more for more elastic product, if he keep less price, means so like people will come and purchase that, because if a little change in price occurs, also the quantity demanded will change. So that's how the producer can take the profit, means that's how the producer can determine the price for his product. So that is the second importance. What is the third importance? In price discrimination by monopolist. So students, discrimination means keeping different prices for different people. Okay, for example, like in theaters different ticket prices will be there, like in AC room it will be different, and in balcony it will be different, and in other sector it will be different. Okay, so that is called as price discrimination, like keeping different charges for different people. So like usually monopoly people will keep such kind of price. So like this elasticity of demand will help them, like for rich people they will keep little high price. Okay, rich people will be like definitely they'll prefer some AC kind of rooms. So if the monopolist keeps high price, also the demand will not change for them. So that's why it will help for the monopolist to set price. So what is the fourth importance in price determination of factors of production? So students, what are the different factors of production? Land, labor, capital, and organization. So how this elasticity of demand will help to them means, see, suppose for example we'll take labor. How it will help for labor? For example, a labor is working in an industry, so that industry is producing mm, water bottles. Okay, water bottles is a necessity goods. So this labor can go to his owner and he can request for a hike in salary, like he can demand him to raise his salary, because they are producing necessary goods. For necessary goods, the producer will be also getting the profits. Okay, so keeping that reason in mind, so the labor can also demand for a high price. So that's how the elasticity of demand will help for the factors of productions. Like for labor it will help, for land it will help, for organization or entrepreneurs it will help. Okay, so that is the fourth importance. So what is the fifth importance? Fifth importance is in tax determination. So like it is related to your government. So how government will put tax based on elasticity of demand means, so it will keep high tax on the goods which are having less elasticity, because the government know that the people will purchase these goods even though there is a changes in price. So like if they are purchasing means definitely they will pay some tax. Okay, so if the government hikes or if the government raises tax on such kind of good means definitely they will get more profit. Okay, so that's why government will increase the tax on less elastic goods and it will decrease the tax on more elastic goods. So that is the fifth importance. And what is the last importance means in international trade? See students, for example, if you want to export anything to other country, or if you want to share our goods with some other countries means, we have to select such a product like the goods should be having less elasticity. Okay, so if we are exporting less elastic goods means the opposite country will take or the purchase this good at any price, like we can set any kind of price for this. Okay, so such kind of goods only we have to export. Like we have to study, like if we are exporting something to China means first we have to study the data regarding what kinds of goods are necessary in that country. Okay, so such kinds of goods we should try to produce in our country, and we should try to export such kind of things. Okay, so then we will be under profit. So these are the 6 different importances regarding to elasticity of demand. Fine, so like this is how we'll complete the third topic of elasticity of demand, that is importance. So first we studied about the measurement, second about factors, and third about importance. So like this is how we'll complete the chapter regarding this concept, that is elasticity of demand. So in next chapter we'll study a new topic, that is production. Okay, fine, thank you.